and I paid off 25K in debt. I have a 5-figure a month business. The business is going to reach 1 million this year in lifetime revenue. And if you would have told me that in 2020, in the beginning of 2020, when I was like investing and doing the thing, still working at my full-time job, how am I going to get there? Like that doesn't even feel real.
Welcome to Did I Stutter with Jill Perrick. And yeah, I probably did because I have a stuttering disability. But I'm also a multiple six-figure business and mindset coach who's here to help you shut down the mindfuckery of imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and playing the nice girl in your content so you and your brand can blow the fuck up and so you can stack the motherfucking cash. I'm holding absolutely nothing back. We're talking marketing, messaging, mindset, subconscious healing, nervous system regulation, and how to do it all even with raging anxiety, ADHD, and just being a fucking human. If fuck is one of your favorite words and nothing can get in between you, your iced coffee, or the work that you're here to do, I'm your girl. Let's dive in.
Being irresponsible has helped me pay $25,000 off in debt, make 5 figures cash a month, and live in a house with a motherfucking pool. But the normal world will tell you that spending your money, investing in a business that you don't know where the fuck it's going, especially when it comes to being a woman, is irresponsible. Spending anything is irresponsible. And you have to realize that this is fucking programming that you need to get yourself out of or remove yourself from in order to make fuck tons of money in your business. This doesn't mean that you need to cut off every person in your life. You don't need to do that. I still have girlfriends I've had my entire life since like kindergarten. I'm with my husband who I've known since I was like 14 years old. And he has grown up in a home where they actually lost their house. It got repoed and he dealt with a lot of financial hardship, right? And I've talked about this before. I've talked about my experience with my husband when it comes to the business and how we've had lots of discussions and even arguments. I have talked about how last year on Christmas, he saw an Instagram post that I made about an investment that I made. And that was the first time that he had heard about it, right? Because I don't typically tell him what I invest because we have our own money. But he saw it and he had a very big reaction to it. And we had to have a talk about it and we had to discuss it. And it triggered the fuck out of me. But these conversations are okay to have if it's like your partner. But what I didn't do is make it mean anything about the success that I can have. What I didn't do is start thinking like him or being like, well, I keep rejecting the 3D, but now there's somebody trying to yank me into the 3D. But that's the thing is I've learned, and I learned a very long time ago, that you need to reject what's fucking happening in your reality in order to create a different one. And when I say reject, I mean literally as it's happening, just ignore it. Ignore the fact that you don't have enough in your bank account. Ignore the fact that you know there are things that are coming up. Ignore the fact that everyone around you is talking about being responsible and buying houses and doing this and doing that. And keep your eyes on the fucking prize. And again, this sounds very irresponsible. This sounds insane. But this was the only way that I was able to get to a place where I could sell authentically when I didn't have any money, when I was really struggling and I was in a ton of fucking debt. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Investing in myself. Oh my God. And I would sit there and I would visualize every single morning. I would visualize things like paying off debt, being able to say like, "Hey honey, like we paid off this debt or we did that or we did this." Seeing my yard with a pool. It's like very similar to how I viewed it in my mind. Very similar. Having a business that I have as a job full time. Like, I don't have to go to a job anymore. Like, I used to visualize that, and I visualized me leaving that job and being so fucking happy about it and being so pumped that I worked for myself and so scared, of course. Like, when it actually happened, I was scared shitless, but I had to really reject the 3D. I had to really reject whatever was happening and just believe that, like, I was working towards something. And this feels irresponsible and it will look irresponsible to the outside eye until you do it. And then people will believe in you. And then they'll say shit like, you knew what you were doing. I should have trusted you. Right. And I've heard that. I've heard that multiple times from my dad, from my husband, from friends, from whoever. right? And I strongly believe it's because I just reject the 3D. I reject the 3D and I allow it to exist without making it mean that this is how it's always going to be. I tell myself this is a temporary blip. And you know what? I actually do this all the time with how I feel because your girl is an Aries. Your girl has a lot of emotions. They go up and down. Okay. Also, I am an emotional generator. Okay. I'm an emotional generator. And I have learned the lesson, especially as someone who has ADHD, right? That when I'm on a high and when I'm in a low, I don't make decisions. So I learned that. And I also learned to just tell myself this isn't going to last forever. This is not going to last forever. You're feeling really angry or you're feeling really sad or you're feeling really low today. And I will literally say to myself, that's okay. You can feel however you want. It's just an emotion and it's temporary. It's going to pass. Because the more you resist it, the longer you'll stay stuck in it. And the same goes for your reality. The longer you resist the fact that it's happening and you struggle inside of it and you tell yourself, oh, I wish that this wasn't happening. Wish I was in a different place. I am so upset that I've done so much work and I'm still in this place. The longer you do that shit to yourself, the longer you will stay in it. Instead of saying to yourself, wherever you are, like I remember driving home from work one night and I had to use 2 credit cards to put fucking gas in my car. And I was just thinking to myself because it was in like February of 2020. I had just invested so much fucking money. I had invested like $15,000, put it on a credit card. Um, and I was still working at my full-time job. I had a ton of school debt and I was investing in my business and I was showing up not really seeing a return yet. And I was like, This is okay." I had creditors calling me. Creditors calling me being like, "You need to make your credit card payments." And I told myself, "This is fine. This is okay." Not in an acceptance kind of way, but in the way that I told myself, "It's not gonna be like this for long. It's not gonna be like this for a long time. I am working towards being in a completely different place." And then I would visualize, and I would visualize so deeply and strongly that I would feel tears come to my eyes every single time. Really existed in that fucking visualization. But that visualization isn't enough if during the time that you're conscious and you're walking around and you're experiencing your life, you are constantly berating yourself, down on yourself, and being stuck in the 3D. All the subconscious work, all the internal work doesn't fucking matter if during your time being conscious and inside of your life, you are resisting what's happening. So I had to choose, okay, if I'm going to do all of this internal work, I also have to choose that when I'm in my life, like experiencing it, I have to act differently. I have to think differently. Like, I can't be stressed out, checking my bank account, being stressed over about who's emailing me, who's calling me. I can't do that because it's actually taking me away from the actions I need to take to actually get to a different place. So it may feel so irresponsible for you to reject the 3D. It may feel so irresponsible for you to sit down and spend half an hour a day visualizing your next fucking level and all the amazing things you will have when you could probably spend that half hour doing something quote unquote productive, but it is productive. And if that helps you then go into the rest of your day and reject the 3D and just be like, even if it's happening, I'm okay with it. It's not going to be happening for long. If you actually do that, you will be in a completely different place in 30 days, in 60 days, in 90 days. In a year, you won't even be able to recognize yourself. I never thought that I would be in a house with a beautiful pool that I have. I never thought that I would. And as a kid, we were always like, "Can we get a pool?" And they were always like, "No, we can't afford a pool." And now I literally have an in-ground heated pool and it's my fucking dream. And we have a big backyard and we have a big house and our dogs are so happy and we are so happy. And I paid off 25K in debt. I have a five-figure a month business. The business is going to reach 1 million this year in lifetime revenue. And if you would have told me that in 2020, in the beginning of 2020, when I was like investing and doing the thing, still working at my full time job, completely fucking drowning in debt, if you would have told me that, I would be like, how? how am I going to get there? Like that doesn't even feel real, but it doesn't have to feel real because it's not real. It's completely separate from your current reality. But that's the point. Is the reality you're currently in, it doesn't have to be your reality forever. And if you just believe that, if you reject like whatever is happening currently in your circumstances, and you instead just keep focusing on the future and how you're going to feel and the actions you need to take today to get there, even if it's just 1%, even if it's a single step, you will absolutely fucking get there. And with all the strategy and everything you need to do to grow a business, this is the other piece of it. Because if you don't believe it's possible, then why the fuck are you even here?